This is the heart-wrenching story of Jamie Marie Deegel, a young girl whose dreams were cut short by a tragic incident in the shark-infested waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Despite the sorrowful outcome, this is also the story of the kindness and bravery of multiple individuals who rallied to save Jamie's life. What led Jamie to venture so far into the ocean, despite the dangers? Jamie, a Louisiana resident, was visiting the Florida Panhandle on June 25, 2005. While her parents Ronnie and Wendy and her older brother Nicholas were back home in Gonzales, Jamie and her friends were enjoying the beautiful beaches, indulging in activities like scuba diving and soaking up the sun. As the days wore on, Jamie and Felicia's sense of adventure led them further and further from the safety of the shore, beyond the first sandbar and then the second. Unknowingly, they found themselves over 100 yards from the beach, too far for any lifeguard to notice. It's unclear what motivated the girls to swim out so far. Perhaps they were caught up in the excitement of the moment and eager to push their limits. Or maybe they didn't fully consider the risks involved. Sadly, their actions would prove to be a fatal mistake. While they were happily swimming and splashing around, they suddenly saw a dark shadow approaching from below. To their horror, the shadow transformed into a shark, and a hungry one at that. As the girls swam, a predator lurked beneath the surface, driven by its primal instincts to hunt for prey. With its keen senses locked onto the two teenagers, the shark swiftly closed in. In a matter of seconds, Jamie Deegel was in its jaws, pulled down into the depths of the ocean. When the creature released its grip, a chunk of Jamie's leg was gone, her bone exposed, and the water stained with blood. In a state of terror and panic, Felicia Venable frantically swam towards the shore, traumatized by the sight of her friend being attacked by the vicious predator. Horrifying screams filled the air, catching the attention of several other beachgoers who sprang into action, although not all of them were entirely sure what had happened out there. 23-year-old Chris White, a state health inspector and volunteer firefighter who had just gotten his EMT license, saw a screaming girl swimming frantically toward the shore and an empty boogie board with no rider. At first, he thought maybe the other girl had gone under or drowned, not knowing there was a shark in the water. Nevertheless, he acted quickly to help. Another beachgoer, Robert Atkinson, who was watching on the shore, noticed a fin and a pool of blood in the water. Despite the feeling that the whole scene looked like something out of a bad movie, Atkinson knew it was real. On that particular day, there was no major horror movie being filmed on the beach. What he witnessed was a genuine nightmare. Another man was swimming nearby when he sensed something was wrong and decided to act independently. On that particular day, 54-year-old surfer Tim Dykes was also taking in the waves when he heard a scream. Felicia, a friend of Jamie Deegel's, was swimming as quickly as she could towards the shore when the man turned to look around. The young child appeared to be anxious to escape something. Dykes took some time to go to the area that so greatly worried Felicia. He quickly understood the girl when she arrived. Tim Dykes discovered 14-year-old Jamie lying face down in a gory crimson-colored blood of water. It wasn't difficult to determine that the girl was the source of all that blood. And it didn't take long for Dykes to notice. He and the girl weren't alone out there. When he looked into the water, Dykes saw the shark. It was evident that the animal had attacked the girl and was poised to strike again. Dykes quickly placed the unconscious Jamie on his surfboard. However, the ravenous shark attempted to bite off Jamie's hand. Dykes and the other people who were helping refused to let the animal win. The 54-year-old surfer began to tow Jamie towards the shore, with the shark in close pursuit. Meanwhile, Chris, who was 23 years old, swam toward them to offer his assistance. He passed Felicia Venable, Jamie's friend, but she was unable to tell him anything about what had happened. She was terrified and unable to communicate effectively. Just before Chris reached Dykes and Jamie, he could hear Dykes shouting that there was a shark. "There's a shark!" the older man screamed. White and another man with a raft breached Jamie Deegel, who was still unconscious, and Tim Dykes. Around them, the seas were flowing erratically. The shark stood nearby, waiting for the ideal opportunity to pounce once more. Chris White plucked the young woman from Dyke's board and dragged her into the raft. He made an effort not to focus on the shark that was swimming just at his feet. Yet, none of them could afford to be assaulted. After a while, all of the heroic rescuers stopped swimming, their bodies growing limp, and they stood vertically in the water. The group finally made it to the shore, but it was too late for Jamie. Despite Dykes' heroic efforts, she lost too much blood and succumbed to her injuries. The tragic incident shook the entire community and served as a stark reminder of the dangers that lurk in the ocean. However, the bravery of the individuals who tried to save Jamie will never be forgotten. Paramedics were unable to revive her, and Jamie Deegel tragically lost her life. Authorities closed a 20-mile stretch of the shore, but reopened it the following day, Sunday, June 26, 2005. However, the residents living in a building next to the beach spotted a shark about 6 foot long right at the shoreline. On that morning, a makeshift memorial was created on the beach to honor Jamie's memory. The tragedy was best summed up by Gonzales Police Chief Bill Landry, who was interviewed at Jamie's funeral. He said, "An innocent young lady who was enjoying the prime of her life, learning what it means to be a teenager, to enjoy high school, prom, and everything that comes with the simple things in life, and she won't get to experience that anymore." The story of Jamie Deegel is a tragic reminder of the dangers that can lurk beneath the surface of the water. It's a reminder that we must always be aware of our surroundings and take precautions when venturing into the ocean. But it's also a reminder of the bravery and selflessness of people like Dykes and Chris White, who put their own lives at risk to help a stranger in need.